Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Heather and this is Create Your Own Cozy. We are back from 8 days in Orlando. There were 11 of us total. We did open to close in Universal Studios 2 of the days. And the younger version of me who was obsessed with Harry Potter, and I have to remind like my daughter, I had to wait for the books to be written for the next one to read, and she got to read them back to back and not have to wait at all. Anyway, I digress. We had amazing time seeing the Harry Potter stuff come to life. We did a day at the water parks. Guys, it was not a vacation, it was experiences, and I'm so glad I got to do that with my girls to end up the summer. We got back on Sunday. I checked out of my small business. I needed that, but I got a new IOD order. By the way, JRV has some new paper coming out today. I don't even have it yet because I didn't get my order in on time. That's coming tomorrow. As you can hear, my voice is like getting higher as I say these things because I checked out and obviously there's nobody to take the slack when I'm gone. So I'm trying to get my wits about me again, get my life together. Yesterday, Thursday, my kids started school. Camden turned 10 on her first day of 4th grade. Hadley started 7th grade, and Piper, oh my goodness, Piper, she started high school. Oh, guys, it's messing with my brain a little bit. And Piper turns 15 on Monday. I mean, so many birthdays, so much going on. I needed to just chill. And as you heard my voice change as I talked about everything that I had to do, you'll notice that in this video, my voiceover is pretty calm because doing this project yesterday and today has really helped me chill out, recenter, and do the creative therapy that I had been missing. Something that just working with my hands and thinking through things and not knowing what the outcome is going to look like. Yeah. This is what I'm using in today's video. It's one of the new IOD blanks. I do have it on my website and in my booth. And this is what I came up with. But I want to say that this video today is not as much about the process, although I am doing a bunch of techniques. I'm doing paint layering, I am doing paint inlay, I'm doing a transfer and a stamp all in one project. It's about the process and reminding you guys to stop, do something that's for you, because my goodness, do I feel so much better. So if you want to see my process and see how I came up with that from a wood arch blank, stick around. These are new to IOD and to me. It is the new arched wood gallery blank, and I ordered it before I left for Florida, and it was waiting for me when I got back. So I thought this would be the perfect blank to use to spark some creativity and get some of that creative therapy that I so desperately needed. First thing I did was used a water mister to kind of wet the wood, and I am using DIY's Dark and Decrepit just as a stain here. You could use any type of a stain, but my idea behind this is, as I am building this project, if anything came back to the wood, I did not want it to be raw, brand new wood. So this was just my plan. I did not know when I started this piece what I wanted it to look like. So this was the first step, just in case I get back down to the wood, and I am wetting it down and then using a paper towel to wipe it back, and it turned into like a stain wash. I decided I'm going to use a paint inlay for the background, so I am going to do 2 coats of faded burlap. I am still not over the Lattice Rose paint inlay from 2 releases ago, guys, and I really wanted this to have this gorgeous background in this particular blank. So first coat just for coverage, second coat I make sure it's nice and wet. I'm misting the paint side of this paint inlay, and this one has been used before. I used this on my Ethan Allen hutch that's in my front space, which happened to be painted faded burlap, so the base color is the same. I measured it out when everything was dry and figured I could put these two right on top of each other, and because it is a second use, I wanted to give it its best chance for getting some of this design to meld with my paint. So I am making sure that the paper is within the spaces, rubbing it in to try to get all of the wrinkles and stuff out. Next, I am going to get out my IOD Brayer and just kind of rub over the inlay and get it to meld with my paint. It really did help make sure that the paper was not wrinkled, and this may be a new go-to every time I'm doing inlays. It was a little tough in the corners and the little curves, but I was able to make it work. Next, I'm going to spray it one more time with my water mister and make sure that paint is wet. I'm going to fix any of the drips, make sure there's no sitting water anywhere, and then let this completely dry before getting my water mister out again, making sure you can see that the paper changes its color and you can see that the paint is reactivated. I don't pull up the paper right away. I want to make sure it's wet for just a second before I go and start pulling back the paper. If at any time your paper feels like it's pulling and the paint isn't coming off, just add some more water and wait a few minutes. But look how beautiful. This is the second use of this one, and I thought it would be perfect for the background of this arch. You could totally leave this arch stained, but I envisioned a painted frame with some dimension and some color underneath. So I am using Gypsy Green and my little dipper paintbrush from DIY Paint and just kind of going along the corners, not covering everything. My idea is I am going to seal this in so that when I do my top paint coat layer, that the green will not be rubbed back, and I can rub back and see green and see the stained wood under here. Then I decided I wanted this little area right next to the picture to be this green and kind of have it be a little darker. So I used a smaller brush and carefully went along these edges to make sure that the green was there. I covered the paint inlay and the DIY paint with some clear spray paint so that it was all sealed in, and if I made any more mistakes, it could be just wiped away. That's the great part about DIY paint. So now I'm using white Swan and I am covering this whole thing. Now, I see this on video and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so stark white compared to what I had going on. Trust the process. I'm not gonna leave it like this. This is just the first step. I go back with a second coat and kind of stipple the white on a little bit. And then I decided, let's add some faded burlap to this little party. And I kind of sponge painted it on, you know, like the stuff my mom used to do in our kitchen, sponge paint. But my idea is I am gonna wet distress this, so it's not gonna look sponge painted. I'm just trying to add some dimension to this top layer before distressing it back and getting some of that green back. Next, I am going to add a transfer to this project from the Rose Botanicals transfer book. Guys, this is one of my favorites. I did get it back in stock. I sold out and it's back in stock, but I was looking for a gorgeous center rose. It turns out that one's a little too wide and I had to change it to a different one, but I wanted it to fit under this gorgeous bird cage in the Pastiche stamp set from 2 releases ago from IOD. This is what I love so much about IOD, is that all their stuff works well together, and it really is a catalyst for sparking creativity and building very unique things. Like this combination of things is something that I came up with, and you guys can do the same thing when you sit down and work on one of these. I had considered doing one for Piper's room with books and a cloche, and then decided, you know what, she can see how this one turns out, and maybe she'll want to make one for her room and let it be her project. So I'm spacing out where I want this transfer to be, and I'm going to put it underneath the stamp, so I want to make sure that it is in the right spot, and then I just put it on my project. Use the transfer tool that comes with every transfer book and carefully burnish it onto my project and peel back as it happens. If anything does not stay on my project, I just put the transfer sheet back down, rub it a little bit more, and it lines up perfectly. They are really great ways to add some gorgeous art to your project without hand doing the stuff. I felt like stamping with black was going to be a little too harsh for this project, so I tried out new grass. I just tried it right beside the project and thought, you know what, I think I like how that looks. Let's go ahead and try a new color. I think I've used this once before, but I have not done a lot with non-black ink. So I'm lining up my stamp. I'm making sure that this backer sheet that I have cut down fits exactly against the bottom, which will help me place it exactly where I want it to go. And use this brayer again to make sure it has contact with the entire stamp. I am not completely happy with the way the screen looks, but I figured let's move on to another step and see if it grows on me. I'm using a wet wipe to wet distress all the DIY paint that I have over this wood, and just kind of calmly working through all these spaces, making sure it's kind of a way to blend some of the colors and distress it so that it has the aged look that I am looking for. One more coat of clear Rust-Oleum to finish the whole project off. What do you guys think? The screen hasn't grown on me, but I'm showing you the final results of this. And then I did a pretty gutsy thing, considering, I don't know, it's noon on Friday and my video's not finished. I thought, well, let's try to restamp this. What could go wrong? I mean, I had all my final shots just in case this was a disaster. And so I put it right back over where the stamp is. I lined it up again. And then I got out my black ink, but I did not re-ink this pad. I did not want it to be a juicy, bright black. I wanted it to be, I don't know, vintagey faded without me having to do any of sanding or anything. So I am going to attempt to hover and place this down. Now this is a pretty big stamp to try to do this with. I'm going to hover it, make sure the bottom lines up, and put it down. Do not let my hand come off of it. Oh, guys, what if this is a disaster? I thought, you know what? You can always paint it again and start that center again. I have the frame the way I want it. So it's just paint. This was all part of the process. Am I the only one? Look how much better. I feel like it stands out a little bit more. Some of the green is kind of coming through. Now I'm getting a little crazy and saying, well, this didn't quite go, so I'm going to line it up and just push down right here. This was just a little reckless, honestly, but it turned out okay. I really do think that that black looks better, and it didn't take over the project like I was thinking black might do. Heather, again, really? Girlfriend, you are asking for trouble. anyway. I'm happy with this. This was part of my therapy this week, saying, is it worth the risk to work to turn in something that was just okay? Or was it worth the effort to try a little harder? And for me, I say it was worth the effort to try a little harder. I love, love, love this piece. I would like to encourage you guys to get something out. It could be a piece of wood. It could be anything from the thrift store that you paint and just start from scratch. Just get out and do some creative therapy when you are overwhelmed. I don't know if you can tell from my voice, but I did this voiceover after doing all of this, and I am so calm. Take care of yourselves, and I hope that you guys got inspired to create something of your own this week. So did I inspire you to maybe grab one of these new blanks or go to the thrift store, buy a cheap frame, just paint the whole thing and just start from a blank slate and just do some therapy, some creative art therapy for yourself? I didn't know how much I needed it. And you know what? I was in the decision fatigue stage of my week when I started. And that's why I was like, let me just stay in it. Let me just start somewhere. And with every step, it got easier to make decisions. And gosh, sometimes guys, we get in this busy and this overwhelm that we don't even want to start because of all the decisions that had to be made. But let me just say, like, this piece now represents a lot to me about the process, about should I have just left it the way that was okay, or was I willing to risk the outcome to try something a little bit risky by restamping something? And I am happy with how this turned out. I think this needs to live behind me now as a reminder that when I get in this chaos, that it is a good thing to stop, create, have some art therapy. And I wanted to remind you guys to do the same as well. Tonight, I am going live on Whatnot at 6 p.m. Eastern. So if you watch this video right when it released, you have a little bit of time to go sign up on Whatnot if you're not already on there. I will put a link in the description. If you're not on there, grab this link and you'll get $15 to spend. We are doing a Sonnets Garden Blooms, like a Bloomer's Raid train. So I did that this morning too. I mean, can you believe it? Like, I calmed down and I was able to get all the stuff I needed to get done. So my show is going to be on tonight at 6 o'clock. My energy is going to have to get up a little bit for that. But it's a great way to end the week. I hope that you guys are doing well. I look forward to getting more in my groove next week of creating. I'm so thankful you are here. Guys, thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. Hit the notification bell to all so you get notified every time I upload a new video. Share it with your people. I know this one was a little bit different than usual, but it was good for me to slow down. And I'm glad that I can remind you that you need to slow down. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.